Okay friends, it's time to get started on replacing our headlamp assemblies. The process for one will be the same for both. With that said, to remove the headlamp assemblies, you have to first remove the front bumper cover. To do this, let's make our way under the front of the vehicle. Now from underneath the vehicle, typically there's going to be some sort of splash shield that comes across the front. As you can tell, some of our splash shields are missing here. Now with that said, any of the remaining hardware that does hold on some sort of splash shield needs to be removed. To do this, we'll use a 10mm socket. Now at this point, you can leave these on here. I'll continue over to the other side of the vehicle and do the exact same thing. Let's make our way up along the back of the grille. You're going to find that you have two push clips holding this in place. Now as we make our way into each of the wheel wells, the process will be the same. You're going to find a little push clip here. In the center of it, you'll find an area for a Phillips head screwdriver. Once you remove the center from this, you should be able to slide it right out. Let's make our way up the wheel well, and now you're going to find an area that looks as though you should use a flathead screwdriver. Now with the flathead screwdriver, I'm actually just going to get along the edge and I'll gently pop out the center. At this point, this should be able to separate a little bit. We'll continue up and there should be one more mounting bolt up here. Ours is missing, but for you, go ahead and remove it. Now let's carefully grab onto the edge of this bumper cover. I'm going to gently pull it down and away from the vehicle. As you can tell, it's starting to separate. Now we'll just look on the inside area here, and we're going to be looking for the fog lamp bulb. As we reach in and find that bulb, we'll turn it counterclockwise to remove it from the fog lamp assembly. Slide it out and away, and give it a quick inspection to make sure it doesn't look broken or damaged or burnt in any way. Here we are. Now we can carefully pull this side off as well and remove that fog lamp bulb. Quick inspection and set it aside. Let's make our way back up to the front of the vehicle. Across the front, you're going to find three push clips that hold this in place and one 10mm headed bolt. We'll start with the push clips. For this, you can use a screwdriver or a trim tool. We'll carefully get underneath the center of this and gently pop it up. Once you lift the center, you should be able to lift the outer aspect. Now we can move along to our last 10mm headed bolt. Keep in mind, this is the last thing holding the bumper cover in place. Remove the bumper cover from the vehicle. With the bumper cover out of the way, we can continue on to removing our three 10mm headed bolts. Now we can remove our last 10mm mounting bolt for the headlamp. let's grab onto that headlamp assembly along the bottom and along the top. Along the top, there's a tab that you should get underneath and carefully lift up. Once you do, it should pop free. We'll start pulling it away, but keep in mind there is wiring leading to the back that we have to remove. To remove these, we're going to remove the entire bulb assembly. To do that, grab onto each of them and then turn them counterclockwise. Once you pull it out of there, give that bulb a quick inspection. We'll set that aside. Do the same for the rest. Now, before we can fully remove this headlamp assembly, we need to continue on to this area right here on the wiring harness. Looking at it, you can tell that there's two little squeeze tabs that you can squeeze together and then gently slide this out of position. For this, I'll use some long nose pliers, squeeze those tabs and press it out. There it is, friends. Okay, friends, it's time to install our brand new headlamp assemblies. Let's have a look from the back side. To make the alignment adjustments on this, you'd want to come right down to this area. You can use a Phillips head screw and turn this either clockwise or counterclockwise accordingly to aim your beam. Now we can start reconnecting the bulbs. Let's start with our directional bulb. We'll slide this into position on the back side of the assembly and turn it clockwise to lock it in. Give each of these a wiggle as you secure them. Continue on to the center, which is the headlamp bulb. Let's get that high beam connected as well. Then, of course, we'll also reconnect our mounting point for the wiring harness. Press that in, make sure it's secured. Now let's slide this into position in the vehicle. As we slide this in, we're going to pay attention up along the top. We want to make sure that the tab slides over its locked-in point. We'll press that down and in. Put in our mounting bolt. Continue on to the other two. Once they're all started, snug them up. At this point, you just do the same to the other side of the vehicle. Okay, now it's time to install our front bumper cover. We'll carefully slide it into place, making sure we're not damaging any paint along the way. While you have it up there, put in your one center mounting bolt. Now we can put in our center push clip. Let's line up the hole over here. We'll start in our mounting bolt on the side. Slide in the push clip, lock that down. And get this one in here as well. Put in our push clip. Now we'll tighten each of these corner bolts. Let's install our fog lamp bulbs. Now we can start putting our bumper cover up on here. Let's get that push pin back in there. We'll put in our center push pin here. Now we can put in our lower push pin as well. Do the same to the other side of the vehicle. Let's start putting in the center push clips as well. Let's start putting in our mounting bolts going across both sides. Do the same on the other side of the vehicle. Okay friends, we got our headlamp assemblies installed in the vehicle. The last thing you want to do is of course make sure that you test their functionality and align them. Aside from that, take it for a road test. Thanks for watching. This is going to be a general tutorial on how to aim your brand new TRQ headlamp assemblies. Okay, so looking at your brand new TRQ headlamp assembly, you're going to see where your low beam is, and you'll see a little dot right in the center. And that is the axis point, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to mark that with an erasable marker, just so it's easier to see. Next, what we need to do is measure from the level ground up to this point and take note of that measurement. Now we're just going to pull the car up to our wall. On our vehicle, we remember that the measurement was 28 inches for our access point. Your vehicle may be different, but that's where I'm going to put this tape, just above that 28 inches. We'll do the same on the other side. Okay, so let's just back the vehicle up, straight back, 25 feet from the wall. And now that we moved our vehicle 25 feet back from the wall, we're going to start with our measurement here. That's where the headlamp center is. We're going to go down 4 inches on the driver's side. On the passenger side, we have our line here. What we need to do is go down 2 inches. To adjust the driver's side, we're going to cover our passenger side headlamp. If you look at the back side of your headlamp assembly, you're going to see something that looks like this. This is the adjustment. Some of these headlight assemblies have 1, 2, or even more of them, but you should at least have 1. This is how we're going to adjust the headlight beam. Now we're going to lower the top part of the beam down to just below this line. When you turn the adjustment to the right, it brings the beam up, and if you turn it to the left, it'll bring the headlight beam down. And this is this way on most vehicles. Let's continue on to doing the passenger side. All right, we properly aligned our TRQ headlamp assemblies. Okay, and on the quality TRQ headlamps for a pickup truck, the procedure is going to be the same. You're going to find your center dot, mark it, and then you'll measure from the level ground up to your dot. So once your headlamps are properly adjusted, it'll be time to adjust your fog lamps. You'll notice on the driver's side, the focal point is all the way at the bottom right now. I would like to bring it up so it meets up with approximately the bottom of the focal point of the headlight. Some fog lamps have an adjuster, others don't. The ones that do have an adjuster, you would just turn the adjustment to the left or to the right to adjust the beam up and down to where it needs to be. Now with your TRQ headlamps and fog lamps properly aligned, you can drive down the road safely.